Somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, your eyes open. No alarm, no reason, just awake. You assume something is wrong with you. It isn't. What if sleeping 8 hours straight is actually one of the newest habits in human history? For almost all of human history, no one did it that way. Tonight, you will flip a switch. Light will flood the room. You won't think twice about it. But that switch didn't exist for most of the story of your species. When the sun went down, the world went dark, completely, instantly. So what did people do with the hours that followed? The real answer is far stranger than sitting by a fire until sleep arrived. Start with sleep itself. Historian Roger Ekirch spent years combing through diaries, court records, and medical texts from pre-industrial Europe. What he found didn't match anything we assume today. People didn't sleep in one block, they slept in two. First sleep began not long after dark. It lasted a few hours. Then people woke up. Not from a nightmare, not in a panic. They simply woke, calmly, in the middle of the night. That waking hour had a name. Eckhart found it again and again in old records. People called it the watch. Some prayed during it, some talked quietly with a partner, some got up and did small chores, some had sex. Then, an hour or two later, they slipped into second sleep and drifted through to morning. Two sleeps, one quiet gap in between. Your ancestors didn't fear that gap. They expected it. So why don't you sleep that way now? One invention is the answer. Electric light stretched the useful day, bedtimes crept later, and the two sleeps folded into one within a couple of generations. Anthropologist Carol Worthman studied sleep across dozens of small-scale societies that still live without electric lighting. The fragmented pattern showed up again and again, not as a disorder, as a baseline. Your 1 a.m. wakefulness might not be a malfunction at all, it might be a memory. But sleep wasn't the strangest thing ancient humans did after sunset. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied the Juhuansi, a hunter-gatherer community in the Kalahari, and she noticed something nobody expects. During the day, their conversation was ordinary. Who found food where? Disputes over sharing, complaints, logistics, the normal friction of people living close together. Then something changed the moment the fire was lit. People stopped talking about food, they stopped talking about work. Instead, they told stories, myths, histories, tales of distant relatives, ancestors, spirits, the origins of the world itself. Why the shift? Firelight hides faces, shadows swallow gestures. Wiesner argued this made storytelling more powerful, not less, because listeners couldn't watch every expression. They had to actually listen. And stories told in that flickering dark carried further, socially and emotionally, than anything said in daylight. Daytime was survival logistics, nighttime was culture, rules folded into myths, warnings disguised as tales about greed or foolishness. All of it passed down after sunset, around flame, at the edge of a darkness that swallowed everything else whole. And that darkness wasn't empty, it was dangerous. Without artificial light, humans were nearly blind after sunset. Predators were not. At night, trust wasn't a virtue, it was survival. Groups slept in tight clusters, bodies close, because proximity meant safety and safety meant mourning. That's likely one reason the fear of the dark sits so deep in you now. Your eyes can no longer read a modern room the way ancient eyes once had to read the wild, but the wiring is still there. That prickle when a streetlight flickers out isn't irrational, it's ancestral. Before humans invented clocks, the sky itself told people when to hunt, when to travel, when to gather. The moon was that clock. Brighter nights meant safer hunting and safer movement. Some anthropological evidence points to rituals deliberately timed around the full moon, when enough light allowed larger groups to travel and meet after dark without stumbling blind into danger. The moon wasn't decoration in the sky, it was infrastructure. Here's the part that should stop you. In just a few generations, humans abandoned a nighttime routine that had shaped the species for tens of thousands of years, not because biology changed, because one invention rewired the rhythm almost overnight. Thomas Edison didn't just light up rooms, he effectively deleted a pattern of human behavior that had survived nearly the entire span of our existence, and did it in the space of a few decades. And yet, look closer. We still gather around light after dark. We just changed what the light is. Your phone, glowing in the dark, has quietly become the new fire, except it doesn't tell you ancestral myths about where your people came from. It shows you an infinite scroll of strangers chosen by an algorithm with none of the intimacy that once made firelight stories so powerful. You're still gathering around light in the dark, exactly like your ancestors did. You're just gathering around the wrong kind. So tonight, when you flip that switch and the room floods with light, remember what you're replacing. For most of human history, no one had that option. They had fire, moonlight, bodies close together, and voices in the dark. And somewhere in your biology, in that quiet hour you wake for no reason at all, that world is still trying to reach you.